Now, what we have here is this, guys. Excuse me. Okay, so we're on question 8, Christmas test once again. And what we have here is Kira works as an accountant. She pays income tax, universal social charge, and pay-related social insurance (PRSI) on her gross salary. Her gross monthly salary is 4,800. That's how much she's making gross. Okay. Then standard rate of income is 20%. Higher rate is 20%. Kira has monthly tax credits, so tax credits of 275, and a standard cut-off point of 2,817. How much income tax does Kira pay each month? Right now, the biggest misconception here was that what does the cut-off point actually mean? How do I actually use it? So you write down her salary. Her salary is broken up into two different amounts. It's broken up into the whatever the cut-off point is. So that's 2,817. Next thing you got to look at is how much money does she make more than the cut-off point? Well, she makes 4,800, but you got to take away your 2,817, and you get 1,983. So that's 1,983 is the other section. The lower section, your first 2,817. See the way it says the word standard rate cutoff? That wording leads you to believe that you're going to use the standard rate tax of 20%. So you're going to do tax at 20%, and you're also going to do tax at, is it 40%? So you have two different taxes. You have tax at 20%, and you have a tax at 40%. Okay, and I'll just move this part here just down a bit further. That's sort of joined up now, unfortunately. Okay, and then what we're going to have after that is we're going to have what's called gross tax. Gross tax is how much tax you're meant to pay in total. Okay, so just get your, if somebody has the numbers, that'd be great. What's 2,817 multiplied by 20%? Nobody? Okay. So 563.40. Okay. Anybody else get the 40% one? 793.2. Okay. Roughly 40% of that. That's about right. Now add them together to get gross tax. What happens when you add them together? 1,035.60. Gross tax is how much tax you're meant to pay, but tax credit is tax you end up not paying. So do I add them together or take the tax credit away from the gross tax? What makes sense here? Take it away, because you're not going to pay it all. So you get that number and take away 275, and this is what's called income tax. What you get for that, Sam? Anybody take them away properly? Save me using the calculator. 1,081.60. Okay, and that's your income tax. That's what they're looking for. Income tax means the tax you actually pay. Gross tax is the tax you should pay, but then there's allowances that reduce that amount, called tax credits. Okay, that's the system. That is the system when you go working after you leave school. That is the actual system. Okay. Now she pays USC on the rate 1.5% on the first 1,001 per month, 3.5 above that, in between 1,001 and 1,465, and 7% on the balance. So what's going to happen is I'm going to have three different numbers. Okay, I'm going to have something that's going to get multiplied by 1.5 over 100. I have another number that's going to be multiplied by 3.5 over 100. And then finally, I'm going to have another number that's going to get multiplied by 7 over 100. There's three different numbers I need in here. And then I'm going to get three different answers, and I'm going to add them all together. Can anybody tell me what number should go in the first box? The first €1,001 gets taxed at 1.5%. After that, what goes in the second box, box number 2? Anybody? You're going to take one, you're right, 1465, take away 1001, and you can find how much money actually exists between those two. There's €464 in that payment band, okay? So 464 is getting done at 3.5%. Finally, how much money do I actually have left over for the higher band? How much money do we make a month again? Our gross? Anybody know the gross amount? It's in the question. 4,800. Take away 1465. And you get 3335. Is that right? 3335. So 3335. You do all of this. Did anybody get this question 10 out of 10? Anybody? Good. Will you just give me the numbers? Okay. You can just do them all individually, add them all together, and what you get? €264.71. Is everybody happy with that? I was just going to get three different numbers, and when I add all three numbers together, to give me my 264.71. Okay, good. Now, next one after that. Her monthly take-home pay is this. Find the percentage of which she pays PRSI. Just what I would have found hard about this is I for example wouldn't remember how PRSI is actually made. PRSI, just for future reference, you'll need to know this. PRSI is a percentage of gross income. So your PRSI is affected by how much gross income you have. It's not net income. It's not affected by tax or USCs. It's affected by how much money you actually earn before the deductions take place. Now, what happens in everyday life is you have a gross salary and you have 4,800. Then you have your income tax, how much tax you're actually going to pay. Now, we calculated that in question 1 as 1,081.60. So we take away 1,081.60. We also take away what our USC, and what's our USC? We did it in the last question. It's down the bottom here. 264.71 was our USC. Okay, so 264.71, and we'd usually take away PRSI as well, which is some unknown amount we haven't got a clue about just yet. And when we do that maths, our result is 2,000. Will you just make sure that's right? 2,986.70. Is that the correct number? Okay. Now, what happens next? How do I figure out how much PRSI I actually paid? Anybody tell me? You can add the two of them together. Oh, sorry. Do it a different way. I'm going to get 4,800. I'm going to take away our take-home pay, and we'll find how much money we actually lost. Okay. So I'll get my 4,800. I'll take away how much money we actually walk home with. That means I lost 1,813.30. That's how much money I actually lost. Okay, so 1,813.30. That much of it, 1,081.60. That was as a result of tax. The next €264.71 was as a result of USC. Leaves over a grand total of €466.99 for PRSI. So that's how much PRSI we actually paid. Okay, it's okay. Now, what we have next is we calculated this. This was calculated, okay? Now what happened is we got this €466 by doing this. What we did was we got our 4,800 and we multiplied it by some percentage. The percentage we don't know yet, okay? So Do you remember when I asked you to get 50% of something, you could multiply it by 0.5, couldn't you? And that will tell you what 50% is. So if I leave this as a box, this will come out as a decimal place. And whatever decimal place it is, it will tell me what percentage. So I'm going to get this box on its own. This box on its own is 466.99 divided by 4,800. Okay? So my 466.89 divided by my 4,800, and I get 0.0972. Now that's in decimal form. How do I convert that into percentage? Multiply by 100. 9.73%. That okay with you guys? Anybody get that? One person? Yep. Okay. So, what we have here, guys, Kira has a credit card. She has a credit limit of €3,000. That means that you can buy, you might have zero money to your name, but you can still buy something worth €3,000. And then you obviously have to pay the bank back, okay, eventually, but you can still buy something worth €3,000. Now, what we have here is interest is charged monthly, okay, so monthly being a keyword there, and an annual equivalent rate of 18% of the amount owed. Now, what I want to explain to you guys is this, okay? If I, as an example, if I owed €100, yeah, APR means add on 18%. Anybody know how to add on 18% using decimals? 1.18. 1 is 100%. 0.18 adds on 18%. Okay, adds on 18%. Is that alright with you? Now, if I was to multiply 100 by 1.18, what would happen? I'd get €118. When they're talking about monthly charges, it's different, okay? Monthly charges are different. When you're doing monthly charges, you got to multiply it every month. So what you're going to do is you're going to have some mysterious number, and you're going to multiply it by 100 12 times. For each month you're €100 in debt, they're going to multiply it by a number that makes that bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay? But it still has to come out the same as 118. So that's what the whole question is about. Okay? So we'll be doing that. I'll actually just go straight into that now. I'm just going to go straight into part 2 if you don't mind. Okay? So what they're asking me is this. If I have some number and I multiply it 12 times by itself, will it end up, what number will end up to be the same as 1.18? That's what they're asking, okay? So, does anybody remember the button to use for this? Not fact. Yeah, it's, see this button here? The yellow button here? This will tell you, if I put 1.18 in here, what that number will tell you outside is what number, when you multiply it by itself 12 times, will result in 1.18. Before I do that, if I was to say what number, when you multiply it by itself 3 times, would result in 27, what would you tell me? No, 3 multiplied by 3 multiplied by another 3 will get you 27. So this answer should be 3. If I asked you what number, when you multiply it by itself 4 times, let's just pick a number at random. Let's go for 7, be very hard to do. I'll go for 2. 2 by 2 is 4, by another 2 is 8, by another 2 is 16. So if I put 16 in there, what number, when you multiply it by itself 4 times, gives you 16? What should the answer be? 2, as it is, okay? What we're asking in this question is what number, when you multiply it by itself 12 times, gives you 1.18. So you 12 root it, and you get 1.18. Okay, and you get this number here. Is everybody happy with that? So 1.01388. We'll round it off to 139. Okay. 1.0139. Okay. Now, do you remember what I said in the up here a minute ago? Okay, I said if you had €100 and you had an APR of 18%, you'd end up with €118, wouldn't you? Now imagine this. Every month, at the start of January, you owe €100. Every month, you're going to multiply it by this number here. Okay? Start of February, you owe that much. Do it again. Alright, start of February, yeah? Start of March, start of April, start of May, start of June, July, August, September, October, November, December. I think I have one more to do. There we go. End of December. Nearly 118 on the dot, isn't it? So charging that as a monthly number will roughly add up to the same amount as 18% once at the end of the year. That's what this monthly charge means, okay? So the answer to that would be you should multiply it by this number here. But remember what we're saying, that's not the percentage, is it? If I told you 1.18, what does that mean? 18% added on. So what does 1.0139 mean? What does it mean? What percentage is it? It's 1.39%. See this one here, that represents 100%. That represents tens. That represents units. That represents tenths. That represents hundredths. So it's 1.39% a month will result in the same amount as 18% in 1 year. Okay? It's a hard question. It's hard to get into the head. Now I'll just go back up to part A for a minute and we'll get that done. Part A. This one was really weird. This one was just all about currency exchange. Now, a few of us have gone over to England recently. Okay, what you need to concentrate on is which is the bigger number. Okay, I don't have them learned off by heart. Right, Alex? Okay, so I don't have them learned off by heart. I'll just concentrate on which one's the bigger number. Is euro or sterling the bigger number? How do I know that? 1 is bigger than 0.83. So they're currently asking me to convert sterling into euro. Am I expecting a bigger answer or a smaller answer? A bigger number or a smaller number? Expecting a bigger number because the number for euro is always bigger than the number for sterling, provided both amounts are worth the same amount. Okay? So I have two choices. I always have two choices with this question. I can multiply by 1.8375 or I can divide by 8374. Sorry. And can any of you guys tell me what happens when you multiply by a number that's smaller than 1? Makes it smaller, which means the logical choice would be to divide by 0.8734. So 8374. What you get as the answer? 2358.49. Okay. Everybody happy enough with that? Everybody happy enough with that answer? People who got it right, that is, yeah? Okay. Now, Kira's financial circumstances change and she is unable to make any repayments. Assume that she makes no more purchases on her credit cards. Show that she will exceed her credit card limit after 18 months. Dennis, we already created the number, didn't we, per month? The monthly charge. We already made that earlier, didn't we? Can anybody remember what number is the monthly charge? The number that will give us the monthly charge. Anybody have any ideas? The 1.39%, yeah? Or if you're increasing it by it, you can just use that number there. The 1.0139 per month. Is everybody happy with that? So you're gonna increase it by that amount every month. Okay? So you can do this two ways. So this number here, we're gonna use that to increase it every month, okay? So we're doing it in euro as well because she has a €3,000 limit. So where's that other number I'm looking for? Will somebody remember for me? You won't be able to remember it. What's the other number? 58.49. Okay. Now, what happens is this much, and at the end of every month she gets charged an extra 1.39% on top of what she currently owes. So if I multiply it by 1.0139, that's me adding on 1.39% every time. If I just keep pressing equals, that's after 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, 9 months, 10 months, 11 months, 12 months, 13 months, 14 months, 15 months, 16 months, 17 months, 18 months. She's now over €3,000 as predicted. Now, you don't have to multiply it out 18 times. Can anybody suggest a quicker way? Power of 18, and that will do 18 months for you in one go. Okay, and what happens next is you get 3,023 point whatever 75, and that's above her €3,000 limit. So after 18 months, she'll expire her credit. Okay. Any questions? I'm sure there's tons. It's not as bad as you think. Okay. There's a ramp for the snowboarding competition at the Sochi Olympics. Okay, I know, and we can see that the person comes in, then they come in like so. They go up their ramp and they do their fancy jump with the double twirl and get whatever points they're looking for. Now, it's part of the slope is based on a quadratic function. Okay, so it's a U-shaped function. So you're saying that maybe this part of the slope can be based on a quadratic function, not the full thing, but part of it can be modeled on a quadratic function. Okay, so our first task is just to pick up ridiculously easy marks. We're just going to enter that into the table function on our calculator. Something we've done 100 times by now. Can somebody just tell me what numbers you get? 941014. I'm now going to draw these points on the board here. Okay, so what was it? 0, 0, 9, yeah. 1, 4, yeah. 2, 1, yeah. Yeah. 4, 1, yeah. 5, 4. And you have here is a quadratic graph. Okay. They love loading them for tons of marks. Every year they'll give tons of marks for them. Okay, so just be able to use your table function on your calculator, and you're doing very well. Yes. Because when you put in 0, your answer would be 9. So that's the point 0, 9. The x values are the left hand side values. The hx values are the y values. So it's 0, 9, 1, 4, 2, 1, 3, 0, 4, 1, and 5 and 4 are all the points. Okay. Now we've done that. That's grand. Now, gets into some difficult parts here. Okay, but at the end of the day, it tells you like that this part should have been easy marks for most of you. It just says to enable a snowboarder to get good air in hyphens to get up high. Just getting better into the air off the jump ramp. The slope at the takeoff point should be almost vertical. Do you know what? That's completely useless information regards to the question, isn't it? Where is the actual question located? Just that part. The other part is next to irrelevant. Sam. Okay. Now, what's h on its own, guys? H on its own is what? What's the function again? X squared. What is it? Plus 9, yeah? Now, what we're going to do next is differentiate that. So, what happens when you differentiate this, guys? 2x minus 6. Okay? Now, just to ramp meet the slope criteria. Now, this is a difficult question. Very few people would get this. Does anybody remember slopes? Okay, so as an example, if I was to draw a slope, I'm just going to use this little area of board here. If I was to draw a slope of 3 as an example, a slope of 3 is across 1, up 3. So a slope of 3 is actually very steep. Would you agree with that? While a slope of 1 is 1 across, 1 up. So a slope of 1 would be in this direction. A slope of 3 would be in a direction like that. And then basically a slope of, like, I don't know, 16 would be very close to being vertical. Imagine climbing 16 meters up for every 1 meter you cover across. Sorry? A slope of 1 is 45 degrees because it's a isosceles triangle, if you look at it like that. Okay? So basically, the larger the number, the more likely is the larger the number, the closer it is to being vertical. Okay? So what we have is to enable this, he must get up high into the air, jump ramp. The slope at the takeoff point must be vertical. Where is the takeoff point? Can anybody tell me? Where did it say the takeoff point is in the question? It should be here somewhere. No, it gives you the point. I'll find it now. Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay, guys. Shh. So what's happening is basically this. You're starting off here. You're the snowboarder, okay? And what you're going to do is you're going to take off. You're going flying down here. But you have to get a really steep slope at the start to build up speed. So you're really building up speed at the very beginning. So we want to figure out how steep is the slope at the very beginning. How steep is this here? This slope at this point here. How steep is that? It is to begin. The two arguments is this. The solutions say you should start here, you should go up. That is in sort of contradiction to this one here, where you guys are thinking you should go here, and then you'll launch up this way. Yeah. So if you present both your answers properly, okay, 2x minus 6 is your slope. Would everybody agree? Excuse me. Shh. Everybody agrees. I'm going to do it both ways anyway. The slope is the first derivative. If you're starting off at this point here, your x value is worth 0. Therefore, your slope is 2 times 0 minus 6. You're dropping down at minus 6 at the moment. That means you're going 6 blocks down for every 1 block you go across. Very steep, very close to vertical. That would make sense regards building up speed and launching off. Another argument would be to use x equals 5. You would write down, graph is misleading, I believe he takes off from here. And then, or you just say, I believe he takes off from here. You insert 5 into your equation. 2 times 5 minus 6. And what that would result in is a slope of, now that's a slope of 4 going upwards, which is technically the same as a slope of minus 4 going downwards if you're going down that way. So look, minus 4 is pretty close to vertical as well. So there's an argument to be made for full marks both ways, right? That's all I can say there. I don't think anybody made that argument one way or another, so it didn't really matter. And there we go. Does it meet the slope criteria? Yes. Slope is close to vertical. Okay, finally. Shh. Are we missing? Shh. Slope. They want the slope to equal a half. That's basically what this is getting at. Because it says the slope equals a half. So that means your 2x minus 6 equals a half. It means your 2x is going to be a half plus 6, which is going to be, what's that, 6.5. 2x equals 6.5, which is 13 over 2. Therefore, x is going to equal 13 over 4. You can leg it.